So I guess this is a good place to start with last night's Loma versus Kambosos card, with Nina Hughes taking on Cherneka Johnson, defending her WBA bantamweight title. And listen to this right here. Take your time out, like the video, subscribe. We're going to talk about Nina Hughes versus Cherneka Johnson, Andrew Moloney losing to Pedro Guevara, and then, of course, at the end of the video, Loma versus Kambosos, and what's next for both fighters. Take your time out, like the video, subscribe.
Live draw. Judge Keatley scores the competition 96-94, and Judge Nakamura scores the competition 98-92 for your winner by majority decision, and still the WBA Women's Bantamweight World Champion, Nina Hughes.
A lopsided scorecard of 98-92 favors Nina Hughes and pulls a majority decision to go to 7-0 and retain her world championship on a night where Cherneka Johnson seemed like she was in control down the stretch and had a 167-133 connect advantage. And by the way, Nakamura, who had that 98-92 scorecard, will be the referee for Lomachenko.
95-95. Keatley scores the competition 96-94. Nakamura 98-92 for your winner by majority. Fighting out of the blue corner, Center beats Johnson.
Is this guy for real?
So if you didn't get what happened there, he announced that Nina Hughes won, then went on to announce that Cherneka won. Can you imagine? His name is Lieutenant Dan Hennessy. He's a long-time Australian. That's Big J. Hold on. Take your time out. Like the video. Subscribe. So we got Big J on the line. We just got finished hearing the cards being read for first Nina Hughes winning the fight, and then a correction being made soon after, saying that Cherneka Johnson won the fight. What was the crowd reaction to that when Dan Hennessy read the cards wrong?
Well, at first, everyone, I was actually pretty happy that Nina Hughes won, and then he reversed it, and the crowd went apeshit because obviously they wanted Cherneka to win, which I didn't. But but Dan Hennessy had his Steve Harvey moment.
Yeah.
So, for those who don't know, I think Steve Harvey fucked up on, was it Miss World competition a few years
Yes,
back?
he did.
Yeah, he announced the wrong, what was it, Venezuela and Argentina or some bloody thing, or Colombia, I can't remember, but he fucked up, he called the runner-up as the winner, fucked it up and had to reverse it. So basically exactly the same thing. And people have been going after Dan Hennessy ever since. Everyone's coming after him with their torch and pitchforks. But,
Yeah.
I mean,
he was the controversy of the night. He was getting slaughtered on Twitter.
Oh, absolutely. And that wasn't the only controversy of the night. I mean, obviously Andrew Moloney was pretty pissed off that he
Yeah, we're going to talk about that next. But I actually thought after rewatching the fight that Cherneka did just enough to win. But in reality, that's one of those type of fights. It was close that we could see a rematch. Now, the cards were all over the place, but I can understand how Nina Hughes is pissed. And more importantly, ever since I've been watching Australian boxing and been seeing this Dan Hennessy guy, he's always been cringe to me. Like just a little extra.
Yeah. I mean, he needs to, do all your flamboyancy and all that sort of stuff, as a added bonus. But the cornerstone of the job is reading the cards right. And I don't know how he buggered it up.
Yeah, I would love to know how he did that.
I think he just had a misfire. I mean, it happens. I mean, no one's perfect.
Yeah, but that was a bad one, though. That's your job. That's you don't get much. You don't have much to do in there except to make sure that shit's right.
That's correct, but name me one person who hasn't fucked up on the job before. I mean, come on.
Yeah, but come on, like on this stage, that's a big fuck up.
Yeah, true,
right now he's become the talk of the night, for real.
And considering the fact that this is not his first show, he's done plenty of shows.
Yeah.
So to make a mistake like that, there will be some pretty dire consequences for him, I think. It's sad. Well, I can guarantee you there's about 50 guys ready to take his place at a second's notice, I can tell you.
Yeah.
So I guarantee every other ring announcer in the country is on the phone trying to take his spot. So
I wonder if they'll entertain a rematch. So for those who don't know, I have the cards pulled up here on the screen. It was 98-92 for Cherneka, 96-94 for Cherneka, and then 95-95, which is the draw card. Yeah. Well, I had it 96-94 for Hughes. I think she did a lot more. Even though Cherneka landed the more significant punches, Hughes was more in control from what I saw. Because I saw about probably, maybe a half of the fight, because I was doing post-fight interviews while the fight was actually on. But from what I saw, I thought Nina was in control. So, but if they want to I don't think there will be a rematch, because I think the IBF unification with the Japanese girl will be next on the cards for Cherneka. I don't see Hughes getting a rematch. They're both under the same stable with Lou DiBella.
Lou DiBella, yeah.
You know, so if they don't visit the rematch, but then again, they're all under the same stable. You know, like I think that the unification makes more sense. Well, the rematch, I think the rematch should happen, but a bigger money fight maybe for Nina if she fights or tries to go after the other belt, which we already know Dina Thorsland. Some reason they won't let her leave Denmark. But between Cherneka and forgot this girl's name.
The Japanese girl.
Yeah, Mayo Yoshida. There you go. They could possibly unify those belts. And I'm surprised Ebony Bridges didn't have anything to say, to be perfectly honest. But go ahead.
The less she bloody says, the fucking better.
Yeah.
Bloody Ebony can stay on a bloody OnlyFans page. I don't give a shit what she wants to do.
Yeah. Well,
go ahead.
No, go ahead. Closing thoughts on that fight, because I want to listen to. I want to play Andrew Moloney's post-fight interview.
They should run it back, but I think Cherneka will get the fight with Machido first, and then Hughes could possibly challenge the winner out of that. I don't see the rematch happening, but
not immediately. I don't see it.
We said that Cherneka would win anyway. Too young, too big, too experienced. But I don't see. I mean, it wasn't a convincing win, that's for sure. And I don't think Cherneka could get over the Japanese girl. I think the Japanese girl would beat her one. So because it wasn't a convincing win by Cherneka by any stretch of the imagination.
No.
So I think she would have a few dramas against the Japanese fighter. But we'll see what happens.
Yeah, take your time out, like the video, subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter at TstreeT Controversy and Big J at Old Mate Big J. The link to both of our social medias are right down below in the description box. They're both right there at the top. Andrew Moloney went on to lose to Pedro Guevara via split decision, and according to a lot of American fans and myself, I think that Guevara did just enough to win, but it's impressive for Andrew that he fought the fight with one arm, to do as good as he did.
He did.
Let's listen to the post-fight interview because hold up, let's listen to the post-fight interview first.
I felt in total control. I did what I had to do in there tonight just to get through the round to win. I don't want to make excuses, but I went into this fight with a torn bicep, so I couldn't throw the left hook unless I needed to. But I didn't feel like I needed to throw it because I was in total control. And look, I just want to say thank you to Top Rank, thank you to my team for everything you've done for me. But I'm done with this sport. That's the last you'll say to me. I want to thank my sponsors for backing me over the years because I'm retired, I'm out. I love you all, but sorry.
You can see the knot right there on his arm, on his bicep, and he could have pulled out the fight. But personally, and a lot of fans in the States feel the same way too, on social media, is that Guevara did just enough to win. But on the ESPN broadcast, when they interviewed Andrew in the back, he seemed to backtrack a little bit about the retirement. I think that he still got something left, and I can understand the frustration, especially with how big this win was needed for him and his brother, being both of them have lost in the same week now. For those who don't know, Jason lost over in Japan on an Inoue Neri card this past Monday, and here this Saturday night or Sunday afternoon over in Australia, Andrew loses to Pedro Guevara, both losing title fights. So I don't think that he's done, but yes, this loss is devastating. But I'm thinking that maybe it was just the the heat of the moment with him saying that he's done, especially with the fights that he's had in the past, where the decision should have went his way and it didn't. Your thoughts on how the fight went?
Yeah, well, I thought he did enough to win. I had it 115, 113, but this is why you can't let it go to the cards, because there's always a chance you'll get screwed.
Mm.
Right.
But remember, it's Australia. It was his home.
Yeah, exactly. And just because an Australian fighter's a home fighter doesn't mean they're going to get the decision. So, that's why you always need to knock out in boxing, because it leaves nothing to doubt. You knocked him out, bang, he won. Problem solved. So there's no chance they can screw you on the cards if old mate's on the ground looking up at the bloody, at the lights. So
yeah,
I do feel sorry for Andrew, because I felt that he did enough to win that fight. He was friggin' devastated. He was not in the mood for anything after the post-fight, that's for sure. His arm looks pretty bad. So
it did.
You can see that big knot. Yeah, it looked. Well, I was standing 2 feet from him, and it looked bad. But at the end of the day, you got to remember these guys, blood, sweat, and tears, and for not a lot of money. People think these guys are earning a lot of money. They're not.
They're not.
By the time they pay their promoter, they pay their manager, they pay their corner, they're walking away with maybe 40% of their purse.
Taxes.
So if you got $100 grand, you're only walking away with 40. So if you're only fighting twice a year, that's only 80 grand. That's I earn more than that.
Yeah. How about that? For real.
So it's not like these boys are raking in millions and millions of dollars per fight. In fact, I don't think anyone on that card would have cracked, or Loma would have made probably over $1 million.
Yeah.
You'd think so. But none of those other undercard fighters would have been.
Yeah, and it's a very tough division with Juan Francisco Estrada taking on Bam Rodriguez this summer. Kazuto Ioka, he has the WBA full title. Fernando Martinez is the IBF, and Kosi Tanaka has the WBO. It's a very tough division. We talked about it earlier this week, where that 118 and 115 pound division are very tough divisions for the Moloney brothers. And to be very honest, as sad as it may be, this may be their last chance for both of them in the same week, ironically, at the top.
Yeah, well, the thing is with the Maloneys and George and Liam Wilson, I'll throw them all into this category. They're far too good for the domestic level, right? Internationally, they can put up a good fight, but when it comes to title fights, more often than not, they can't get it done.
Yeah, bridesmaid, never the bride.
That's exactly right. That's
like all of them. They get there and they just can't break through that next level. And the same thing's going to happen to Sam Goodman.
Oh, Sam Goodman's going to get fucking murdered.
Yeah, he don't have the punch. And another thing, what you said about all of those fighters, they don't have that punching pop. They don't have it. Jason has a little bit of it. Liam has some, because we saw what happened with Navarrete. But for the most part, they don't have that cracking power to go in there where we say, you know what, they're going to knock this guy the fuck out. They just don't have it.
Well, Liam does, but he lets his fighters off the hook.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. That's why I said he does. But for the most part, and Jason, I would consider Jason to be the more powerful, the more harder puncher of both of the twins. But for the most part, yeah, and especially in those lower divisions, you got to have that power. They just don't have it. So we're going to see what both of them are going to do. Personally, I don't think they're going to retire. And they're in a situation where they're both still young. They're both what? They're 30 right now. 33.
33.
So they still have about another good 2 years left in them. You know, I'm not saying they should, but in this boxing landscape, you know, they can take a year off, both of them, revamp some things and see how the divisions play out and, you know, change some things up in camp and possibly come back and compete again. Because it's clear that some things need to change. And one thing we can say, as we talked about before, is they can't say Top Rank hasn't been giving them a push because Top Rank has been promoting them.
Absolutely.
You know, so it was sad to see it go like that. And also, once again, he fought as good of a fight as he did, and that jab was popping with one arm. So, you have to give credit to that, and he has to pat himself on the back for that. You know, one arm.
Exactly. And congratulations to what's old mate, the Mexican fella's name?
Pedro Guevara.
Pedro Guevara. He was the happiest fella I've ever seen.
Hell yeah, during fight week.
He was happy the entire week. I think he was just happy to be here. So I got a photo with him after the fight, and I've never seen a bloke so happy. He's loving life. So
well, remember, he hasn't traveled much. I'm looking at his resume right now. He's fought mostly in Mexico, and he's had 2 fights in Japan. And one fight in the Middle East against Carlos Caldres. So for the most part, being an Australian, also I heard Perth is beautiful. So for a guy like him to come from where he's come from, and now he's a world champion now, you know, some people, you know, respect and enjoy the fact that they get to travel the world, and he was on a big stage, you know, in a sold out arena.
Yeah, he was loving every second of it, I can tell you.
And I didn't know he was that old. He looks like a younger guy, but he's 34.
Well, he's had, 45 fights? That sounds about right.
Yeah, but I thought, but he doesn't, I didn't think he was that old. I thought he was maybe about 26, 27. I would have never thought 34. And he's from Sinaloa, Mexico. He's from a rough part of Mexico, too. Like one of the roughest youth of Mexico, like for real. So, you know, good on him. So before we get into the main event, we're 17 minutes in, about 13 minutes left. Lucas Browne, tell me about the undercard. We didn't get access. I tried to find a way to be able to watch the fight because the card started here at 10 p.m. Eastern on ESPN and ESPN Plus, but they opened up with the Moloney fight. So I thought we were going to get to see Lucas Browne, but we didn't. How did he look?
Well, Lucas got knocked out inside of like a minute and a half.
In the first round?
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
And I sent it to you on Instagram.
Yeah, I have a clip here.
Finally retired. Thank God for that.
I have a clip of him going, dang. And his face is brutalized. That happened to him in one round?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was one round. Because we were preparing for George to do his post-fight interview, and then we turned around and, Brownie's in the ring. He was walking out with his 2 young fellas behind him, and next thing you know, Brownie's on the ground. We're like, what the?
But we talked about that, though. That's how it is with him. You never know which one's going to show up. He could come out and knock your ass out. If he don't knock you out, then he's going to sleep.
That's pretty much, and he's been put to sleep the last 3 fights. So
yeah,
he's had enough. And we were talking to Lou DeBell, and he goes, "Yeah, that's it for him." And so it bloody should be, because you know the man's 45 years old. He's had 3 knockout losses in a row.
Yeah.
What more? I mean, he doesn't need to. What more can he give to the sport? There's no need for him to go out there and get hurt. He's not going to win anything anymore. He's got that one lucky right punch, and if he lands, if he hits you, he'll stay asleep. But more often than not, people will get in. I mean, don't forget, he got knocked out by Paul Gallen for bloody.
Yeah, for real. How about that?
But yeah, I like Brownie. He's an absolute bloody gentleman of a fella. So yeah, we had a bit of fun over fight week. Vasyl with him, actually. Has actually taught me,
Yeah, I saw that.
Make sure you focus on one eye.
I showed that on the screen.
Yeah, so me and Joey McAllister, that chump, he wants to take me on. He got in between us. So we had a bit of fun with Brownie. He's a good bloke, but I just wish him, that he's retired now and hopefully he stays retired, because he said he wanted to do this because he wanted to have a fight in Perth. Okay, fair enough, but a 1 minute stoppage. I honestly thought that Brownie was going to win personally. I thought he'd knock old mate out, but obviously not. But now he can retire. He's got his gym now. He can go back, focus on that, and now he can do other things. Become a trainer or run his gym or whatever. So there's plenty of other things for him to do, and I wish him nothing but the best. So because I don't want to see him get knocked out no more, because that shit catches up with you.
Yeah, it does.
So,
once again, take your time out, like the video, and subscribe. Big J's Twitter is down below in the description box. The whole link, all you got to do is click the link, and it takes you directly to Twitter. Also, mine is there as well. Let's go in and talk about the main event. Now, I got to be honest. A part of me is, relieved a bit that this George Kambosos experiment is over. He's had a hell of a good run at the top. We don't know what he's going to do next. For those who don't know, he was stopped. That was the first time in his career he was dropped, right?
correct. No, second time, because Theo knocked him on his own.
Oh, yeah, you're right about that. I forgot that.
That was the first time he was stopped in his career, yes.
Yeah, but he was stopped by Lomachenko in round number 11. He was dropped by a body. No, he was dropped by a. It looked like a lead straight in round number 11, but then stopped by a body shot in round number 11. And as we talked about in the lead up, Lomachenko has a history of when he has a bad fight or loses a fight, he comes back and, brutalizes the opponent the next fight. So in this case, as crazy as it may sound, Kambosos looked good, but was dominated at the same time. Like, he was aggressive, and if you notice, he was doing what you said he was going, what he should do, because he was catching Loma with some clean body shots, especially when Loma was pulling out. So he was going to the body, but it just wasn't enough, and Loma just was too good for him. But one thing I pointed out in my post-fight video is that he could be easily 0-7 in his last 7 fights, because looking at it, he barely squeaked by. No matter how the fights went, looking at the cards in this landscape, especially with what happened in the Maxie Hughes fight, we can see that the cards can go either way. So split decision in 2019 against Mickey Bay, split decision to Lee Selby in 2020, split decision to Teofimo, which he won in 2021. 2 unanimous decision losses to Devin Haney, completely just dominated in both fights. Maxie Hughes, a lot of people felt they're flat out calling that a robbery, that the wrong man won, and then he got stopped by Lomachenko. So that tells you right there he could be 0-7. And also, an interesting stat that they pointed out on the ESPN broadcast is that he has the worst punch stats for a championship fighter in the history of the sport. Only landing 10 punches for the most part. Like, it's just, I can't describe this career of this guy. He's, that Teofimo Lopez, when he'll always be able to have that. Always be able to have that. But I can say at this point in time, from what I've seen from Kambosos, especially with his performance against Loma last night, he's got the heart, but he just can't get, he just doesn't have that. I don't know. It's just not it. I guess we can call him, I'm going to call him an overachiever. What did you think about the fight?
Well, I thought he was doing all right. I thought he was aggressive. He was going to the body, but the problem
he was aggressive.
He wasn't fishing. He wasn't going to the head after he went to the body.
Yeah, he wasn't going back up top.
Exactly. Once you get him to the body, you've got to go straight back up top, and George wasn't doing that. So, did George catch Teofimo on a bad night? Obviously he did, because Teo.
Yeah, he had that lung issue, but still, he's got it though. He's got that win over Teo.
That's true.
He's got that scalp. No matter how he got it, he's got it.
And another stat: George is 0 for 3 in world title fights in Australia.
There you go.
I'm pretty sure that's his record in America is better than his record at home.
Well,
and I don't think I'd have to have a look, but I don't think there's too many fighters in Australia where their international record is better than their home record, especially for world title fights.
By the way, real quick, is he still living in Miami? Is he still living in Florida, or is he back in Australia living full time?
When was he ever living in Florida?
Oh, I thought he was living down there. My bad. I know he was over here for a while, right?
Yeah, he was over there for a while during the Kambosos. Sorry, not Kambosos. Lopez.
Got you.
Camp, but no, he's always been a Sydney fella. So he's got his gym set up in Sydney and everything. So no, he ain't living in Florida. Got you.
So now the question is, what's going to be? Well, he's not talking about retirement. And looking at this 135-pound division, it seems, well, as it stands right now, he's not getting a title shot no time soon, because it's looking like we're going to see Loma take on Emmanuel Navarrete. Then again, don't be surprised if Navarrete loses next week to Dennis Berinchyk. I think 135 may be a bridge too far for Navarrete, and Berinchyk he's a boxer. Dude can fight. And I'm expecting for Navarrete to come in looking even pudgier than usual. Loma's near the IBF. Shakur Stevenson is taking on Artem Horvatakyanyan. Well, I finally got it right. On July the 6th, I'm going to be at that fight. And then the WBA champion, Gervonta Davis, is taking on Frank Martin on June the 15th. So it's expected for Loma to fight Navarrete Berinchyk winner for that belt, and then to possibly fight Shakur Stevenson. And then sometime next year, hopefully around this time, 2025, we could see a unification, undisputed, in a perfect world, between Loma, Shakur Stevenson, and Tank Davis. But the question is now, where does George Kambosos go from there? Because when you look at the other fighters that are now in the mix with William Zepeda, who, by the way, put a boot in Maxie Hughes' ass right after Maxie Hughes got robbed against Kambosos. You got Raymond Maratala, who I don't really consider him to be really a special fighter, but I would kind of give him the edge over Kambosos a bit, but he's still unproven. He's going to be taking on Tevin Farmer. And you got Edwin De Los Santos, who's moving up to 140. Remember, he had that stinker against Shakur Stevenson. And then you got Andy Cruz. So what I'm seeing is, Floyd Schofield. So what I'm saying is, it's going to be interesting to see what Kambosos is going to be doing next. And then you have, of course, Gustavo Lemos, who is still looking like he's going to be at 135 pounds. He just moved up to 140 for that Richardson Hitchens fight. But right now, I got to be honest, I'm not sure. I think that Kambosos needs to go back to rebuilding. He's 30 years old, get a couple of fights, get some confidence back, and then come back on the world stage. What do you think he should do next?
If I was in his position, I'd just call it a day. Bugger it. You've got some money in the bank, you're healthy, you've got 3 kids and a wife to consider. I'd be like, fuck it, I'd pull a pin. Because, he wouldn't, Tank would destroy him. Shakur would outbox him, if not knock him out. He would get over Navarrete, but as you said, I think old mate would beat Navarrete, so I don't think that fight would happen. It depends what Loma does with the IBO belt. If Loma keeps that, if not, George could probably go after it again as a vacant title. That would be the only thing.
I'm just looking at what path can he take, though. Because right now, he ain't going to be sniffing a title shot unless it's the IBO, and let's be frank, nobody counts that for real, except you Aussies. But, it's going to be a tough road back, dude. Would you say, since he's been active for the most part, maybe he should take some time off, like a year, rebuild things, see how the division lays out? Because right now, he's going to be the B-side. Against all those top guys I've named, he's going to be the B-side.
Absolutely. But as I said before, his record in America is far better than his record here.
Yeah.
Take 6 months, see what happens. Let it play out over the next, over the next 2 months, you're going to have all those fights done anyway. Shakur, Tank, and Navarrete are all going to fight, and that'll open up the scope for what's next. So, have a month off, see what happens, and then go from there. But I mean, it's hard as who said it? Bloody Hagler said it. It's hard to get out of bed at 4 a.m. when you're sleeping in silk sheets.
Yeah.
And if he's sleeping in silk sheets, if he's got money, if he's got it wisely invested, why would you want to keep getting your head kicked in?
Yeah.
So.
Also, remember his promoter, Lou DiBella, even said it would be a tough road for the loser when you interviewed him.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, what did he say? What did he say? The loser is going to have to do some thinking.
Exactly. So, I mean, it's going to be a tough road. And remember, George, over the last few years, has done more than what anyone else has done in Australian boxing. I mean, look, in 3 fights, he's had, 70,000 people plus rock up to his fights.
Yeah,
he's got the record. He beat the UFC for attendance at the RCA Arena. The UFC's been to the RAC Arena twice. George just beat that record because it was a sellout. I was there. There was not a spare seat in the bloody house.
I mean, but and if you look at it, like the Lee Selby fight was a significant fight at that time. Teofimo, 2 fights with Devin Haney and Lomachenko, so they can't say he hasn't fought the best. That's a win or loss. He's been fighting everybody.
Exactly, and he can he's got the best resume of any Aussie without a shadow of a doubt. All right. I mean, easy, man. His resume is better than Tim's. It's better than Jason. It's better than Jai, because Jai has really only got one name on his resume, and that's Breeders. So, yeah, his resume is better than pretty much all those guys, right? I mean, yeah, the other fighters might have one guy that's better than, but as a whole, George's resume is streets above everybody else's. Look at the level of competition he's fought. So
by the way,
he's damn proud of that.
Did you know that I heard about this, but I forgot about it, that Kambosos tried to stiff his manager and he'd stiffed his trainer?
Yeah, I don't know. That's not my business. I don't really care.
Yeah, it's a whole article. You know, I'm reading it now. Manager Peter Khan wins. Manager on the Ring Magazine. Manager, it just came out this a couple of days ago. Manager Peter Khan wins a $350,000 lawsuit over George Kambosos. I remember that situation, and then also he owed his trainer $300,000. I don't know if it was for multiple fights that he owed him that money, or was it just for one fight? Because that's ridiculous, right there. $650,000. You know, that's a huge number. But yeah, he did lose a judgment against his manager. So I'm hoping, because I was wondering, like, damn, yeah, he does have a new trainer. I wonder what the issue was with that. And now here we are. But me personally, I think that he's made some money. He's been active. Take some time off. Figure out what you're going to do. No more than a year, and then see how the division plays out and come back from there.
The one thing he did surprisingly said to me, I said, "You're not going to go to 140." He goes, "I never said that." I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, yes, he did. I know you did the interview. We have the interview on the sound. He did say that.
I'm pretty sure he said he was never going to go to 140.
Yeah, so he did. I remember. No, he did say it. Maybe he meant that he didn't say it that week, but he has said that in the past, that he's a 135-pound fighter. But now, who knows? Now that'll be a door open for him. And as I'm looking at the 140-pound division, he would have some trouble there too.
Domestically, they want. A lot of people keep saying, they want Liam Wilson to take him on. What bloody for? Well, why would George take on Liam Wilson?
Well, money.
There's no. Well, I mean, that's not exactly a that's not exactly a bloody, fight.
Well, shit, it'd be pay-per-view. What they're selling you guys on pay-per-view, they definitely would put it on pay-per-view over there.
No, they put anything on pay-per-view over here. We've established that. So, but I don't think, actually, yeah, it would, because with Liam Wilson being a no-limit fighter, they would put it on pay-per-view over here. Yeah, they would. They would.
Yeah, but will the ticket fatigue be there for Kambosos? Will people be going out clamoring to buy Kambosos tickets now?
Well, obviously they still do, because 16,500 people rocked up, and I think people...
Yeah, but it's a loss.
You got to remember, has not seen a fight like this since Danny Green took on the Polish bloke in 2011.
Yeah.
So that's well over a decade. So I think a lot of people are coming because, it's a boxing match. We haven't seen one in so long. We're going to go.
Yeah.
So, but, a lot of people travel all over the place to come and see this fight. So I think it's just the fact that it's a world title fight in Australia and people just want to see it.
Well,
So I don't think it really mattered who it was. It was just an Aussies fighting for a world title fight. We're going to go.
well, the Maloneys and Kambosos had a hell of a run since COVID, and it's crazy how like all three of them in 1 week now there are a big question mark around where their careers go from here. Just in 1 week, all three of them, like three of right now Australia's current mainstream boxers, just like that. And you guys haven't been having a good run either with Tim Tszyu. The guys have been taking losses.
Well, I said the only world champion we've got, two if you count Cherneka, the only world champion we've got at the moment is Scott Nicholson.
Yeah, well, remember,
George
you got John. We're going to be talking about him next week. I'm going to be interested. That fight has more meaning now for Australian boxing, because if Jai loses, people are going to be looking at Australia like, damn, you guys were just flukes. You're losing all your belts.
Yeah, that's right. But, it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see. I think Jai will take care of Bredis.
So before we wrap it up, we're going to talk more in detail about that next. But before we wrap it up, Australia is definitely in need for some new blood. Because right now, you got Tim, Nikita, Jai, but who's going to be the next young crop of fighters that's going to be carrying it? It's not going to be Liam Wilson. It's not going to be Sam Goodman. It's looking like. So I'm interested to see, and then Brock Jarvis, there's still a big question mark around him, especially what division is he going to settle at?
Well, they're trying to set him up with Nikita.
Exactly, and he shouldn't be up in no 154.
No, I don't know what's going to go on with Brock. We'll have to wait and see.
But overall, your thoughts, the wrap up the card, closing thoughts?
Well, thank you very much for sending me over, mate. Big thanks to you, because without you, I wouldn't be doing all this. So I want to go on record and thank you very much for getting me over here.
Thank you, because like I said, I can't believe that I'm this entrenched in Australian boxing of all places.
Oh, well, you can't have everything. So it's been good, mate. It's been good. It's been a good experience. I will say that if you haven't put it up yet, I actually got Lomachenko to answer a question without looking to his interpreter and go, what the fuck did he just say?
Yeah.
So I finally got him to answer a question where he just straight out answered it. And
I didn't watch anything, none of the stuff. There was a lot of complaints here in the States about, like, the card was late last night. For us here in the States. I understand, the card was over at about 12:31 p.m. for you guys. Your time, but over here that card ran late here. A lot of media, like we were having some issues, staying up for that.
I don't blame you, but Perth is 12 hours, well, it's 10:30 at night there, it's 10:30 in the morning. There's a 12-hour time difference between Perth and the East Coast. Where you are.
Yes.
The West Coast is not as bad. I think they're only about, 9 hours or something like that?
Yep.
But, so 12-hour difference, what were they going to do, start the card at 6 in the morning?
Yeah, it's a big difference between 9 p.m. and midnight, that's for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. But, got to do, and I understand why they only had 3 fights on the card, because everyone's going, why is there only 3 fights? I'm like, the time difference. Jeez, people need to, put 2 and 2 together. So, but no, I enjoyed myself. I had fun. Another huge fight for the channel, and now it's your turn to get back out on the scene.
It's crazy because we've covered all the highs and the lows of Kambosos. How about that? His whole title run, everything.
Yeah. I don't think he's done. But if I was sitting in his position, I had that sort of money, and I was that age. Because when I was his age, I was in the army earning fuck all. So if I was 30 and I had that much money, I'd be like, fuck it, I'm calling it a day.
Yeah.
So go on a commentary or something, Jay. Be healthy, wealthy, and wise. So, but it's up to him. But I sure wouldn't mind being in his position. That's for sure.
Yeah. All right, guys. With that being said, take your time out, like the video, subscribe. We're going to be here. Give us a few days. We're going to have a full Australian boxing breakdown. We got Jaya Pataya taking on Miris Breedis in a huge fight next week, and also that Emmanuel Navarrete versus Dennis Berinchyk fight is a huge fight. It's a big weekend for boxing overall next week. And of course, we got Tim Tszyu taking on Virgil Ortiz, which we're going to be building up for. Now, August the 3rd card is going to be creeping up on us very soon. It's May the 12th already. And Big J has a lot of content that he sent me to upload that's going to be uploaded before this. So, go and check that stuff out if you haven't already, if you want to stop the video. Well, it's too late in the video now. But, thanks for watching. Please subscribe. Have a wonderful day. And
one more thing before we go, mate. One more thing before we go. Is it Mother's Day over there?
Yep, I was about to say Happy Mother's Day. Yes, it is. It's Mother's Day right now.
Make sure you ring your mum if she's still around. Ladies and gents, ring your mum. Wish your mother Happy Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day to my wife. It's my anniversary, so happy anniversary to her.
Oh, yeah, happy anniversary.
I rang my mum. Did you ring your mum today? Or
yes,
have you rung your mum yet?
Yep, 9:30 this morning.
Good. Make sure. I rang my mum first thing too. Make sure you ring your mum. Happy Mother's Day, everyone. Enjoy yourself. I'm on Instagram now too, in case anyone cares. It's old mate Big J. And we'll see you next video.
All right, man. Thanks for watching.